Lorenzo de Medici, the magnificent ruler of Florence. Today's subject is Lorenzo de Medici, otherwise known as Lorenzo Il Magnifico. Born into a family with high expectations and bitter enemies, Lorenzo was thrust into power at an early age and was forced to navigate the dangerous game of politics among the rich and powerful men of the Italian Renaissance. The rise of the Medici dynasty. Lorenzo de Medici was born on January 1, 1449, in the city of Florence to his mother, Lucretia, and his father, Piero. By the time of his birth, the Medici family had already become one of the wealthiest and most influential families in Europe, largely thanks to the efforts of his grandfather, Cosimo de Medici. Cosimo revolutionized banking by opening branches across Europe, making the Medici Bank the most respected financial institution for Europe's social elite. Even the Pope entrusted his wealth to the Medici Bank. By the mid-1430s, Cosimo had become the de facto ruler of Florence and began implementing his grand vision for the city. Unlike many rulers of his time, he saw himself not merely as a businessman or politician, but as a patron of beauty, truth, and wisdom. His personal funding of the completion of the Santa Maria del Fiore Cathedral, designed by the untrained but ingenious Filippo Brunelleschi, solidified his legacy. Lorenzo's early life and education. As Lorenzo grew into his teenage years, his grandfather recognized his potential as a leader. Alongside his younger brother, Giuliano, Lorenzo was given an education that emphasized philosophy, diplomacy, and the arts. They traveled extensively, meeting important political and religious figures, including the Pope in Rome. Despite Lorenzo being the older of the two, his father ensured that both sons were treated as equals to prevent rivalry. Giuliano, the so-called Golden Boy, was widely admired for his looks and charm. He was even used as a model by renowned painter Sandro Botticelli, who may have based his most famous works on Giuliano's rumored lover, Simonetta Vespucci. In contrast, Lorenzo was described as having a broad frame, short legs, a large squashed nose, and poor eyesight. Yet, his charisma, intelligence, and easy smile won over many. A friend once remarked that while nature had been a stepmother to Lorenzo in appearance, she had been a loving mother to his intellect. The death of Cosimo and the Medici struggles. In 1464, Cosimo de Medici passed away, and Lorenzo's father, Piero, took over the family's banking empire. Unlike his father, Piero lacked the political finesse to maintain stability.
Don't forget to subscribe to help us grow our channel.
By aggressively calling in long-standing loans, he alienated Florence's merchants and weakened the Medici's grip on power. By the late 1460s, assassination attempts were made against Piero, foiled only by Lorenzo's keen awareness. However, Piero's declining health from gout earned him the unfortunate nickname Piero the Gouty. He passed away on December 2, 1469, leaving 20-year-old Lorenzo and 16-year-old Giuliano as the new lords of Florence. Though trained for leadership, their youth made them vulnerable to the many enemies who sought to dismantle Medici rule, consolidating power and the Renaissance boom. Realizing the precarious state of his family's finances and influence, Lorenzo strategically married into the noble Orsini family, elevating the Medici status. Yet, he knew that true power in Florence came from public favor. Following his grandfather's example, he invested heavily in the city, funding grand building projects, libraries, churches, festivals, and carnivals. Under his patronage, Florence became a beacon of the Renaissance, home to geniuses like Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, and Michelangelo. His rule was so admired that even rival families referred to his leadership as a benevolent tyranny. Florence flourished, and the Medici seemed untouchable until 1478. The Pazzi Conspiracy, a deadly plot. In 1471, a new pope, Sixtus IV, ascended to power. Though best known for commissioning the Sistine Chapel, he was also a ruthless politician who favored his own family. In 1474, he attempted to acquire the town of Imola for his illegitimate son, Girolamo Riario. Lorenzo had already secured the town through a deal with the Sforza family, leading to a bitter conflict. When Lorenzo refused to finance the Pope's purchase, Sixtus IV turned to the Medici's longtime rivals, the Pazzi family. With the Pope's tacit blessing, the Pazzi family plotted to assassinate Lorenzo and Giuliano. On Easter Sunday, April 26, 1478, during High Mass at the Duomo in Florence, the conspiracy was set into motion.
Don't forget to subscribe to help us grow our channel.
Lorenzo and Giuliano, distracted by conversation, were ambushed. While Lorenzo managed to fight off his attackers and escape with only minor wounds, Giuliano, unable to flee due to an injury, was brutally stabbed to death by Francesco de Pazzi. The aftermath: retaliation and excommunication. The assassination attempt backfired spectacularly. Instead of rallying against the Medici, the people of Florence sought justice for Giuliano. Members of the Pazzi family were hunted down and executed. Francesco de Pazzi was dragged from his hiding place and publicly hanged. Even Archbishop Salviati, a known ally of the Pope, was executed, prompting Sixtus IV to excommunicate Lorenzo and declare war on Florence. Determined to destroy the Medici, the Pope allied with the King of Naples and the Ottoman Empire. Facing overwhelming odds, Lorenzo made a daring move. In December 1479, he personally sailed to Naples to negotiate with King Ferdinand. After months of tense discussions, Lorenzo's charm and diplomatic skill won over the king. The alliance was broken, and Pope Sixtus IV was forced to retreat in humiliation. Lorenzo's later years and legacy. Having secured his power, Lorenzo spent the remainder of his life fostering Florence's golden age. He continued to champion the arts, raising 11 children with his wife, Clarice, and adopting his late brother's son, Giulio, who would later become Pope Clement VII. Lorenzo's rule became synonymous with the height of the Renaissance. He passed away in 1492 at the age of 43, leaving behind a legacy of culture, diplomacy, and resilience. Lorenzo the Magnifico remains one of the most celebrated figures of the Renaissance, a ruler whose vision shaped the course of history. Lorenzo's story is a testament to the power of intellect, strategy, and resilience. Though his enemies sought to bring him down, his ability to inspire, adapt, and lead transformed Florence into the heart of the Renaissance. His legacy lives on in the art, architecture, and history of Italy and beyond. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life stories of Lorenzo and Giuliano de Medici. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to follow and subscribe for more fascinating historical tales. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.